Hey everyone, Daniel here and welcome back to another video. The CEO of Voyager Digital, Steve Ehrlich, just went on Fox Business and talked all about Voyager Digital specifically and the massive drop we're seeing in cryptocurrency prices across the board at this moment in time. And in this video, I want to show you guys exactly what he said, talk about cryptos, the VGX token, Voyager Digital stock, and other things like that. First and foremost, let's roll the clip.
Steve Ehrlich joins us. He is the co-founder of Voyager. I'm going to say that's like an e-trade for cryptos. I think I'm being accurate there. Steve, you got 600,000 traders on your platform. Can you tell us, report for us, please, what are they doing right now as the cryptos unravel?
Well, thanks for really having me today. I appreciate you taking the time and having Voyager on the show. We're seeing a lot of additional money coming into our platform and buying not just Bitcoin on the dip, but buying a bunch of the other altcoins. We almost look like Bitcoin's a little bit of a distraction to everything else that's happening with all the altcoins. We're seeing a lot of buying on Ethereum, a lot on Polkadot, a lot of Link, a lot of Voyager token, a lot of people actually buying a lot more on this major dip that we've seen today.
Steve, is that right now? I want to press the point. You are seeing buyers coming in to buy this dip as of right now. I will tell you that we got Bitcoin back at $37,000, having touched 31 earlier. But you're telling me the buyers are buying this dip as we speak, correct?
Yes, they are. We've seen more money come into the platform over the last 12 hours and the last hour as well, coming into our platform for people to buy the dip. Crypto is not going anywhere. We're seeing a dip. We're seeing a correction here. We've seen a lot of things in the news, a lot of tweets from influential people. But this is an opportunity for retail participants to get reestablished and to increase their positions in the market at this point in time. And we're seeing it with the number of cash coming on the platform.
Fair point. And look, thanks. You're reporting on what is happening on your platform right now. We appreciate that. But you can't ignore the possibility of future regulation. Look what's happened in China. China says you can't use cryptos as an exchange, a medium of exchange. You can't use them as a currency. And Chinese financial firms cannot offer crypto services. That's regulation. Bearing in mind that Bitcoin was used to pay for this ransom of the pipeline, surely you're looking at the possibility of regulation coming at you, and that is a huge negative.
Well, let's unpack that for a second. There's a lot you said there. First is China. We've seen China play this before where they banned crypto, then it comes back, then it goes. You can't take everything on the face when it comes from China as to what the motives are for what they want to do. So, that's one piece of it and the regulation. But we've seen that before where they banned crypto, then they come back with it. I'm also reading reports that they're focused on their own digital currency within the government. And so maybe this, their banning of Bitcoin and other currencies has something to do with that. Second, the regulation in the US and where it goes, I think we will have thoughtful regulation. I think there are a lot of places in place like Voyager where we take careful KYC, know your customer, anti-money laundering. That's all, good for regulation. We'll see more thoughtful regulation.
So as you can see, Steve Ehrlich made a lot of very interesting points in this interview. Although it was a little bit shorter than I originally anticipated, we can dive a little bit deeper and get some very, very interesting things. First and foremost, Stuart Varney, the host of the show at the time, said in his introduction of Steve Ehrlich and Voyager that they have 600,000 traders on the platform. And this is very, very important if you own the VGX token or Voyager Digital stock, as they both benefit from an increase in funded accounts. 600,000 traders, guys. When Voyager Digital reported their April numbers, they reported over 400,000 total funded accounts, and now we're kind of hearing a number of potentially something closer to 600,000, which is an absolutely huge number compared to where they were at just in April, and points to a lot of potential growth at the platform, which obviously benefits either the VGX token or Voyager Digital itself. Now, on the topic of the current situation, obviously with the massive drop we're seeing in cryptocurrency prices across the board, Stuart asked Steve Ehrlich, what are you seeing on the platform? And Steve responded with, we're seeing a lot of additional funds coming onto the platform and being deposited. There are a lot of individuals depositing money and buying cryptocurrencies, and specifically buying this major dip that we are seeing. There are a lot of cryptocurrency investors out there that were waiting for lower prices, and this is very evident. And especially with the drop that we're seeing now, a lot of those individuals are taking money that potentially was on the sidelines and putting it into cryptocurrencies, which is why we're seeing a rebound. And we'll talk a little bit more about cryptocurrencies when we talk about the VGX token. On the topic of the current situation that we're seeing with cryptocurrency prices across the board, Stuart went ahead and asked Steve what he's seeing at Voyager amidst this massive dip that we are seeing across cryptocurrencies. And Steve said something very interesting, that they're seeing a lot of new additional funds coming onto the platform. In other words, there are a lot of people buying this major dip that we're seeing in cryptocurrencies. Something like a Bitcoin down 30, 40, 50%. That's mirrored in Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano. All the different cryptocurrencies are down massive. And we're seeing people deposit money onto the platform, which shows the mentality of a lot of investors with potentially money on the sidelines buying in at these cheaper prices, but also shows that Voyager Digital benefits in these times of volatility. And again, I want to circle back to this when we do talk about the stock at the end of the video. Next, Stuart really focused in on the idea of regulation and the power that it has on potentially really constraining the cryptocurrency market in the coming years. And again, someone like a Steve Ehrlich really emphasized his point that they're in favor of thoughtful regulation, and that will really help reduce a lot of the crime happening within the industry. And, Stuart made an example of China and how China has just went ahead and banned cryptocurrencies across the board. But Steve rebutted that with, China has done this in the past, and they're very back and forth when it comes to banning cryptocurrencies and re-implementing cryptocurrencies, and now they're working on a digital yuan. So, we don't really know the situation with China, as they are very back and forth with this whole kind of cryptocurrency system. But, when we look at the cryptocurrency market as a whole, it is a worldwide thing. Bitcoin isn't just within China or within the United States. It is a worldwide cryptocurrency that can be bought within the United States, Europe, Asia, Africa. All of these different places, to where even if a certain country or a certain nation or a certain continent manages to ban cryptocurrencies, there will still be many other countries and billions of people that will be able to buy cryptocurrencies as well. On the topic of the Voyager Digital platform, they are currently seeing a shutdown, a maintenance mode, might you call it. But this is something that's being mirrored with a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. And when we look at the tweet that Voyager Digital just released, we'll see that it's actually a problem with exchanges. And let me read this. Due to market volatility, there are widespread exchange outages and exchange connectivity issues across the market. As a result, Voyager app is currently in maintenance mode. We are closely monitoring and working to ensure our systems and exchange connectivity will be available as soon as possible. We will provide additional updates as soon as we can. We appreciate your patience. Thank you. So this is something that we're actually seeing across the board. So companies like Binance or Coinbase are also seeing cryptocurrency outages. So it isn't just a Voyager problem. And they actually mention that this is something that has to do with just a widespread exchange issue. As we know, Voyager is connected to 9 to 11 different cryptocurrency exchanges to process their orders. And what we're seeing currently with the amount of volatility is a lot of these exchanges having their own problems, which is why we're not just seeing Voyager, but other exchanges down in the process. If you are using Voyager and you can't currently buy anything, my heart goes out to you. I'm not involved with the company whatsoever. I'm a shareholder of their stock. I cover them on this YouTube channel, but they're not paying me whatsoever to talk about the company. I don't, endorse them in any way. But, Voyager Digital, they're down currently. They'll be up eventually. Cryptocurrency prices are remaining pretty down across the board when you look at something like a Bitcoin. So, just generally speaking, even if, this maintenance time does take a little bit of time, it does appear that this dip that we're seeing isn't really rebounding in a massive, massive way. So, you should hopefully get your chance when the Voyager platform does come back to, buy potentially some of the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Polkadot, Cardano, whatever it may be that you want to buy. as this dip that we're seeing is absolutely epic in proportion, and a phenomenal opportunity for any investors to get into the market or to deposit some of their monies that they might have had on the sidelines. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the VGX token specifically and talk a little bit about cryptocurrencies across the board. The Voyager Digital token is, Voyager Digital's native rewards token. And, this is something that I, kind of believe in as a whole. And I personally like to associate a bet on the Voyager token as a bet on the Voyager platform itself. Now, currently we are waiting for the Voyager rewards program to go live, and that will essentially really kind of create that use case for the VGX token, as it will allow for individuals who own certain tiers of VGX to essentially gain access to certain rewards. I don't want to go too in depth into VGX. I have a separate video on that. I'll link it in the description down below. But what we're seeing currently is VGX decline substantially alongside the rest of the cryptocurrency market. It does not have anything to do fundamentally with VGX whatsoever. And at these prices, I think this is just an absolute joke at $2 a coin. If you watch my video on the VGX token, you'll see that, once this program goes live and once users really start to buy this to gain access to the different rewards of the Voyager loyalty program, this token has a lot of kind of use potential when it comes to individuals on the Voyager platform. And I really like it from a cryptocurrency standpoint. And it looks like it's ranked 108th out of all cryptocurrencies out there. That's something very interesting. Looking at the rest of the cryptocurrency market, this dip that we're seeing is not associated with, any major news. Obviously, we had Elon Musk tweeting some, kind of BS about Bitcoin and whatnot. But generally speaking, this is all just volatility that comes inherently with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies across the board. And if you own cryptocurrencies, this shouldn't be anything new to you. You should expect these major dips to come at, very unlikely moments, just like we saw last night and into this morning. So, in my opinion, with cryptocurrencies, it really is that type of thing where you just want to continue buying and continue dollar cost averaging in. And, not worry about these major dips that we see, as they do come with cryptocurrencies. And honestly, they do present major benefits to long-term investors as they present long-term buying opportunities. Now, the only risk that people are worried about is the potential for this turn into a crypto winter. Obviously, this is what we saw back in 2018, early 2019, where cryptocurrency prices stayed stagnant. No one was talking about them. They were all down in a massive, massive way. In my opinion, that isn't that likely as of right now that we see a major cryptocurrency winter, due to the fact that the movement up that we've seen is not yet nearly proportionate to what we saw back in 2017, paired with the fact with potential institutions buying in and a lot more coverage of cryptocurrency and a lot more believers in cryptocurrencies across the board. I really do think that this dip is just something that might be a bit of a blip along the way on our continued path throughout this bull market that, in my opinion, we'll see throughout the rest of 2020. I mean, I was just looking at a chart on Twitter, and back in 2017, when cryptocurrencies were in a massive, massive bull run, we saw major dips, just like what we're seeing here today, transpire back in 2017. So there is a big chance that we do rebound from this and continue to push higher throughout the rest of the year. But honestly, this is healthy. This allows us to kind of gain ground and not get too ahead of ourselves when it comes to cryptocurrency prices across the board. Now, next thing I'm going to talk about, and this is, I believe it's the last thing, the Voyager Digital stock. This is something that I'm invested in. I know a lot of you guys are invested in either the Voyager Digital stock or the Voyager Digital token. A lot of things to cover. First and foremost, this number that we got with the 600,000 new users, absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, that's not confirmed, but if it does end up coming true, this is absolutely great news for any Voyager Digital shareholders, as it means a lot more potential kind of users and potential activity on the platform. Now, when we look at Voyager, one thing that kind of pisses me off, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys right now, a lot of people associate big downward moves in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, generally cryptocurrencies, with a decline in Voyager's revenue. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right now. That is the polar opposite of what is happening. One main reason. Voyager, Coinbase, Binance, Celsius, BlockFi, they all benefit from cryptocurrency volatility, whether that is up, whether that is down. We just got news that Voyager Digital is seeing unprecedented demand in the amount of deposits coming onto the platform. Why? Because of the major dip that we're seeing. There is so much more volume on the Voyager platform, on cryptocurrency platforms, than we have ever seen in the company's history, especially during a major dip like this. When we talk about different exchanges, this is something that Steve Ehrlich said back a couple of months ago. All of these exchanges have their best days on the most volatile days. And a day like today must be record-breaking for a company like Voyager when it comes to new trades, when it comes to new funded accounts, new deposits, and rather principal value traded as well. So to see a massive decline in stock price is absolutely ignorant of the situation we're seeing at Voyager, where they're actually benefiting from this. Now, the only thing I can pinpoint to a potential reason as to why Voyager stock price is down so significantly on a day like today is because of two main things. One, investor sentiment. They see cryptocurrencies down, they automatically assume and remain ignorant with the fact that other cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency related stocks must go down as well. Number two, the potential fear of a bear market. Obviously, if we look back at 2017, and I'm going to pull back the Bitcoin chart here, we saw a massive decline in the price of Bitcoin. With that comes decreased trading activity, decrease in new funded accounts, and a decrease in the sentiment of cryptocurrencies across the board, which leads to a decline in revenue for a company like Voyager. So in my opinion, the only thing I can associate with this drop here today that we're seeing is investors fearing a bear market. And in my opinion, the chances of that happening are pretty low for the remainder of the year, given the fact that, this drop, in my opinion, makes me even more bullish on cryptocurrencies across the board, as it almost acts as a period of consolidation. Now, how much lower we go? I have no clue. We can continue going lower, very possible, but in my opinion, we'll see a slight drift up throughout the summer, potentially into the fall, and potentially slowly rebound. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, don't trade off of this, but in my opinion, we don't have a major catalyst or a major kind of overvaluation in cryptocurrencies like we saw back in 2017. I mean, proportionately, if we were to have a repeat of 2017, we would need Bitcoin to go to levels of 150,000 plus to remain proportionate to what we saw back here in 2017. And, if that is the case, that might be something we see in the back half of this year. That would make me a little bit more worried. But in this situation here, I don't think there's anything to worry about. This is a major dip. If you're a cryptocurrency investor, great time to buy the dip. If you're an investor in Voyager stock, again, the stock is down on absolutely nothing except fear, uncertainty, and doubt right now. That is the only reason for this dip. And I hope this video brought you a bit of value. It's very interesting to take a look at the different situations going on within the sector at this moment in time, as there is a lot to talk about. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and see you all next time.